25th, 2007. All right. You know, we got all this Iran news and World War III brewing and the economy literally imploding before us. But this brings it home. Now, this is the Statesman, okay? Juveniles' terms under scrutiny. Investigators say states should make sure no sentences were unfairly extended, announces terminations and arrest. Thousands of cases at the troubled Texas Youth Commission should be reviewed to determine whether inmates should be released immediately because their sentences were improperly extended by agency staff or cannot be justified, Governor Rick Perry's special master recommended Friday. Jay Kimbrough, who has been assigned to investigate allegations that agency employees molested teenage inmates and covered it up, said 93% of all inmate sentences were extended. A lot of times they don't even let them out of juvenile hall. They just make them go into prison after that. And should be reviewed for fairness. There are about 4,700 inmates. But by the time they get around to the review in a year, they'll release a few on the news, and then the rest will stay in the rape rooms. He also disclosed that 111 agency employees had felony arrest or convictions involving offenses that range from homicide to theft or writing bad checks, and then in addition, 437 had misdemeanor arrests or charges. Now, actually, a bunch of them are pedophiles. You're not going to see that in the Statesman. So you're going to think this is bad. This isn't the tip of the iceberg. God, if there was some new country where people weren't all scum, I'd leave. But this is worldwide, folks. This stuff's going on. These people run things worldwide. Like low-level gangs, you got to go kill an old lady or rob her or hit her over the head. With this gang, you got to do stuff even worse. Remember Mark Foley, the congressman, the head of the missing and exploited children? Every time, folks, it's just, God help us, man. These people are in control. What do you think all the black mask and ski mask and machine guns are about? It's about intimidating you. Now, I'm not saying the cops are involved in this. Most of them aren't, but they're the thugs for the perverts. And they've just conditioned you and sold you through Hollywood that all this is cool. Just look at what our country's turned into. Look at everything around you. 437 had misdemeanor arrests or charges. The agency has about 4,600 employees. In a wide-ranging briefing to reporters, Kimbrough said the two agency's officials, a lawyer and a former chief inspector, were terminated Friday and that the superintendent was arrested on suspicion of making a false statement to a peace officer. He also unveiled recommendations to slash, and it goes on. Now, what's really going on? What's really going on? This is 7 pages. I can't read the whole thing. It's up on Infowars.com right now. You can also listen to the interview we did with Dr. Corsi today. Part 2 is coming out tomorrow. I'll be interviewing him. And then families in Florida where 3,000 plus children are missing. Now remember, you might have remembered that. A few years ago it was in the news. They were finding some dead in foreign countries or in shallow graves with their heads chopped off ritualistically. Don't roll your eyes. You need to go Google that and pull up the articles from years ago. Well, it's armies of them. And 3,000 plus children are missing. And they're flown out of the country. They're tortured to death. You name it. And it turned out the entire hierarchy were convicted child rapists. That's who ran CPS. You think a normal person can go to somebody's house and trick their way in and see some dirty dishes and snatch toddlers? You just think a normal person can do that? No. No. A large portion are hardcore criminals. And I don't even want to get into it. I mean, you think the stuff they're doing to 10 and 12 and 13-year-olds is bad? That's this. The toddlers can't fight back, folks. And that's where the real stuff's going on. 3,000 plus missing in Florida alone. Where do you think the Satanists get kids? They go out and become cops, folks. They go out and they become CPS workers and child family court judges. Do you understand? This stuff's real, okay? Now let's get into this here. Embattled AG, now accused in sex scandal, covered up Attorney General Gonzalez among officials who allegedly ignored abuse of minor boys. And they got letters in here from the state to the Texas Rangers saying, well, we don't know, it was painful for the boys. I've got the quotes. Well, it might have been consensual. Folks, you can go read the letters. Now, this is what's nuts. And this is what Dr. Corsi was talking about today. This is what scares me, is that it's gotten so bad, they write public letters, federal prosecutors, state investigators, state prosecutors, and they go, well, maybe the boys like it. Can you imagine being the Texas Rangers? The prosecutors write to you and go, well, maybe they like it. See? It was Gonzales wrote the memos saying they could torture children in Abu Ghraib and Camp X-Ray. Do you see that man? Do you see the evil in his eyes? That is a serial killer right there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him. Just look at him. Just look at the evil. And that's what they're all into, folks. They're all into war and death and destruction and torture. He wrote memos saying they can torture people to death. His deputy, John Yoo, in the White House, wrote memos talking about how to torture children in front of their parents. Then they admit on the news, yeah, with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's 7 and 10-year-old, we threatened to torture him if he didn't confess. And then he confessed to things he didn't do. Now they admit he confessed to things he didn't do. No one in any society, the Nazis didn't publicly admit they tortured. These people do. And then say, well, we don't call it torture when we pressure you till you die. And you're like, hey, this is a scary issue. This is, I'm not going to talk about Democrats and Republicans with my neighbors because you're not supposed to talk about it. I was told so. That's what Americans do. Keep our mouths shut. No, that's not what you do. When you keep your mouth shut, you get in deep trouble. Frankly, this stuff is just unbelievable. The feds and the state officials, they send letters to the Rangers and the state police and others going, well, okay. They don't deny this stuff happened. They say, well, maybe it's consensual. Someone's underage and even consents, it's statutory rape because they're not old enough to make that decision. That's A. B, when someone's under your control in a prison, it's an absolute no-no, period, to have any type of relations with them. And then C, the reports of these children are that they are taken and people come in, and it's all over the state. Started out in West Texas, it's all over the state, and that people come in and pay and come in to have sex with the children. Take Abu Ghraib. That's just one of scores of bases in Iraq. General Tagumbu's report. He's an American general. You can just type in Army Report on Torture Tagumbu or Army Report on Torture, and you'll get Justice Department, you'll get MSNBC. You can go read the report. It's 15 pages. Just don't sit there and give me your crap. Well, let's just nuke them all. They ain't human. The troops need to be raping. That's how we get tough. I mean, that's how you are, man. What happened to you? I watched Jack Bauer on Fox. He tortures. That's how you get tough. No, it's because the people running things like this. Do you understand that? Can you get that through your pea brain? The people doing this are the same ones destroying the dollar, destroying the border, killing the country. We're in the North American Union now, you stupid little man. Don't you understand that? This is serious. A lot of us are risking our lives to bring you this information. Stop being a cowardly piece of crap. So I want everybody to go up to Infowars.com and link through on this and read it. Embattled AG, now accused in sex scandal covered up. Go read all 7 pages. Go read the carbon copies in here of the Texas Youth Commission. Go read it. I mean, these are people in public documents going, well, what's the big deal? So they're in there, maybe they like it. It says it in there. It says it. Do you understand how sick they are? This guy wrote memos saying they can torture people to death and torture children. Well, this isn't Iraq where you can just dehumanize them. These are Texas children. I mean, I got to control myself, man, because it's just criminals take control of government. It's called tyranny. It always happens. It's happened again. And these aren't good old boy criminals. I mean, these are sickos, folks. These are sickos. And they run the society.